I know it is still a month too early to be hearing that sound, but you already know when I do a Christmas DIY or a Halloween DIY, any holiday, you know that intro is going up there early, no matter what. Right now, I'm just showing you guys that I have on my Nightmare Before Christmas nails that I actually got from Temu. Today we are doing a Dollar Tree dollhouse turned into a Nightmare Before Christmas house. I am going to be starting kind of backwards. Usually I start with the dollhouse and then work on the things that I'm going to insert. I want to hurry up and put these on because I am so excited for these. And of course, anytime I do a dollhouse based on like a certain movie or something, I'm going to try to get as much accuracy from that movie as possible. I'll get to the playing cards a little later, but those two images, if you guys remember in the movie, Jack wanted Sally to, I was going to say to stitch together, to sew together his outfit, and he showed her those two images for reference. So I did just go onto Google, find them, make them smaller in Microsoft Word like I've done for my other DIYs, and I'm going to be gluing them into the picture frames. These are those same picture frames that I used in my recent core line Dollar Tree dollhouse turned into the Pink Palace apartments. They already come pre-framed or pre-pictured, so you do have to scrape the picture out. It doesn't just pull up, so that I can go ahead and glue these in. I am going to use the Mod Podge gloss to glue it on, and I'm also using a Q-tip to help me. I'm sick and tired of tearing up my brushes. Brushes and glue don't go good together, or it will just stick the brush together and then the bristles won't work well. I need to find like a silicone brush. That would be cool because of course it would be easy to clean. And just like before, I did mention that you want to make sure to glue it around the edges. Do not put the glue on the center and then stick it down because the paper could bleed through, and also the glue might not dry as well. So all you have to do is just apply it around the edges and then seal it off around the edges as well. Oh, and look at how adorable it is, and I'm so glad that it fit perfect. I'm using the one where he's holding the orange pumpkin for the gold frame, and then the other one for the silver frame. I just feel like those color combinations just work best with each other. Very complimentary. Also in that core line DIY, I did mention that I bought this well, not knowing how big it was going to be. So we are going to take inspiration from that scene with Oogie Boogie when he was around that, what was that, like a fire type of thing? And all of those bugs fell into there. So that is what I'm going to be doing for this. I mixed together all of those apple barrel matte paints, and then I put it to the side because I thought that this is something that I probably would want to do first instead of like trying to hold it and then apply it. If you don't know, you can just go ahead and use glue in place of resin. Most people will pour resin in and then you have to wait, I think, like at least 24 to 48 hours for it to fully cure. Now if it's something that you need to look like that color all the way through, because again this well is kind of covering it up for me, so all I'm going to need to do is paint on the top, then I would recommend as you're layering the glue in like I'm kind of doing, pour the paint in as you go so that the color could be all the way through. But all I need is the color to be at the top. I am going to go ahead and let that sit for a couple of hours before I paint on the inside. But on the outside, I am just using those three colors that you seen earlier just to paint it. And I'm using this raggedy brush that got messed up because of the glue. The good thing about this is because it's not like a fluffy bristle brush, it's gonna make sure to paint the top layers. I want it to still look like that how that well looks. What is that, brick? I want it to still look like that, so you don't want the paint to get deep into the cracks and it looks like one color. I am also just making sure to cover the whole thing, especially since there is blue showing. Now for the moment we have all been waiting for, the actual dollhouse. Of course, I am using multiple dollhouses. I don't just use one, or I don't use one of the same type. I always use two different ones. You've seen it a million times, so that's why I didn't pull it straight out of the package, just pulling it out like this. I'm going to be cutting off those raised edges right there. Still struggling, just like before. Those garden Dollar Tree scissors are the only things that can cut it real good because it is flat. Well, not really good because it is a flat surface and that's what it needs to cut it. These heart scissors would cut it so good if it wasn't so thick and bulky. I did eventually get it cut, and I went ahead and glued these two dollhouses together off camera because I need to save some memory. Right here is where I said that I'm going to be able to fit that well up there because I'm going to I'm gonna kind of glue the roof part off center. Usually I just, you know, leave the roof part fine, but I am going to kind of glue it towards the edge. But you do want to make sure to glue it so you don't risk anything falling off. Now for this dollhouse roof, I'm going to be trying to cut it across as straight as possible. I'm going to be doing what I did before and kind of creating what I think would be called an outing. That's, well, it's more like an extra roof, but yeah, it's kind of like an outing, like an extra long outing. And I am going to be using those heart scissors to help me cut across. The side of the roof did have those pieces on that I'm using to glue right there. I cut them out. See, I just pointed to it, but yeah, I cut it out so that I can glue it right there and then kind of cut it to size. I'm using a reference picture that I will pop up on the screen just so you guys can see how I'm looking at it. I'm trying to get as close as possible. See that middle part, how it kind of looks like an outing? Yeah, that's what I am doing here. And I'm just cutting it to size. There's also another piece of that part I just cut that I'm gonna add next to it so that I can, you know, hide that piece as well. Again, the computer memory is just not memorying like I needed to, so I had to do a few things off camera. I did glue that, what I said I needed it to be an outing right there. I did add a little piece on top so that the sticks that I used, I can glue them. And again, I use this, what is this, scarecrow from the Dollar Tree. I used those sticks that come with him. I took him apart. I did him like they did the Scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz.
They tore my legs off and they threw them over there. Then they took my chest out and they threw it over there. Well, that's you all over.
They sure knocked the stuffings out of you, didn't they?
And then I just glued them right there. So everything was just glued off camera basically. So simple, but yeah, sorry I did have to do it off camera. I'm just going to use these spray paints that I'm showing just to spray paint the dollhouse. I'm using the black one to spray paint the outside and the beige and pink to spray paint the inside. And look at how good. Didn't I say, I said it before and I'll say it again, spray paint just makes everything better, or paint in general, but definitely spray paint. And the inside, I did spray a little layer of black, kind of giving it like a spotty look. I didn't want it to just be like a flat color, and I struggle with painting the inside of the dollhouse. I am using this spray can, this snow spray. I think I got it from the Dollar Tree years ago, and it clogged up on me, but I am using that to see if I can spray paint the roof so that I didn't have to add on like the faux snow that I have, but I'm still gonna have to add that. I don't know, this snow spray is just, it's not the best and it stays wet. I don't believe like it really dries down, but yeah, I'm just using that and it kind of comes out like that silly string, so I'm not the biggest fan of it. Next thing I'm going to use is the faux snow that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to sprinkle that on the roof. Since the spray is still, of course, wet, which, like I said before, I don't believe it dries down, or at least I can't remember if it does. But yeah, I'm just going to stick that on top. I'm trying to give a Christmas touch to it while still staying as true to the original Nightmare Before Christmas house as possible, which, by the way, whose house is it? Is it Sally and her master's house? I know Jack was up in that what is that, triangular shape, trying to figure out how to, you know, do Santa, but it's like, where or whose place is it? Which is why I kept the house black, but I'm also still going to, you know, add that Christmas winter flair to it. A new year, and I'm still using this underdeserved tulip puffy paint that I believe I got from Michaels or Walmart, which I think it was Michaels, it could have been. It doesn't get puffy even when you use the blow dryer to dry it down, so I am just using this and adding a couple of layers to the roof for those like drippy snow accents. And sorry, I just realized that my camera, like, I wasn't in frame, so I'm trying to fix it for you guys. Like, it was all over the place, okay? And then I'm also going to kind of like add drips, because when it dries, it will dry in that drippy type of effect, and that's what you want. And all you got to do is squeeze a little out and then, you know, just push it down to add that drip effect. Next, I'm going to be taking this croc gibbet that I got from Temu. I got them in a pack a couple of years ago, and it says Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm going to put it on that outing part. On the original Nightmare Before Christmas house, I think there was like a triangular shape, something like right there, but I just kept it like this style of the dollhouse so that I could fit that perfectly right there. And I love how it looks. I did get these pins of Jack from Temu years ago as well. I think it was, well, not years ago, but how long ago was that? I think it was like one of my first orders from Temu. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely have to keep shopping with them. So it was originally supposed to go on the middle part behind that awning. I was gonna put it in front of that dollhouse on those windows, and it fit right there perfectly. As you guys can see in my little picture right here where I was kind of pre-designing how I wanted the dollhouse to look. That's what I always do for my dollhouses. I kind of set them up just to get an idea. I was gonna put that right there, but it's not gonna fit, so I'm gonna have to put it on the inside. In my last Dollar Tree haul, I showed you guys that I got I think it was 5 of the figurines collectibles of the Nightmare Before Christmas, $1.25, and Zero was one of them. So I'm gonna glue Zero on top of those windows in the front. I bought a 5-pack of lampposts from Temu. I already had a couple of them and I used one of them in my core line dollhouse, but I realized that I needed some more of these. I already cut the end part of it. I bent it out of shape. It can bend, but very slightly. Like, you have to go gentle with it to make sure it does not, you know, crack and break off. I'm gonna go ahead and glue it on the side of the roof, and this is going to act as that extra room that Jack was located in. It does not light up, but later on I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do to get it to light up, of course. I'm going to use one of these buttons of Jack. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that I got these buttons and that Nightmare Before Christmas button pack that you can get from Michael's, or not AC Moore. AC Moore is out of business now. Joann's or even Walmart has them. I'm just going to use this for the door. You can barely see it, but it is cute, like when you, oh my gosh, when you put it towards the light. So we have some more gibbets right here of Jack, and these two, one is of him in his Santa form, and the other one is of him in his regular Jack form with just the Santa hat, and I think it's a snowball in his hand too. These are so cute and adorable. And then there's one where he's in his full Santa attire. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue these in that portion of the house, like behind those 3 sticks. And don't mind me right here, I was just still desperate to put that pin somewhere on the outside so you can see it. But yeah, it is going on the inside. Now we're going to be starting on the inside of the dollhouse because I had enough like working on the outside. For now, we're going to go back, you know how I go back and forth just to figure out how I'm going to do things. I'm going to cut the back of the needles off of the pins, and then I am going to glue them, reverse glue them on the same house that I was actually going to glue them on the outside. Going to put them on the inside, and those pieces ended up going in the dollhouse, which is good because if they were on the floor, I know I would have stepped on it. Like, I made such a mess. I always do with my dollhouses. And by the way, I am using my scissors to help me like get a grip on these little pieces because I cannot find what I did with my tweezers, and I used my good tweezers for my dollhouse last time to grab stuff, and now I can't find it. Like I said before, when it comes to like the interior of the dollhouse, I struggle with knowing how to like really design the flooring and the walls and windows and stuff like that. I am just going to go ahead and use that same wallpaper that I got from the Dollar Tree. I used it in my Coraline house. It's definitely not the type of color design that I wanted, but it's what we're going to have. And then I went off camera and just finished it up because, again, the dollhouse is not like an even layer, the flooring, so you have to cut certain things to a size. This is how the well turned out now that the paint and the glue in the inside is dry. And see how I said like all it needs is like a couple of hours. I'm going to use the Apple Barrel matte paints in the shade Red Apple and that orange. I think that's the Harvest. I'm mixing them together with the brown, what's left of the brown. I thought that it was going to be too bright, but you can see it turned out way too dark. So I am just going to go ahead and apply this first, and then I'm going to add some more red into it. And it's going to give a beautiful fiery mix. I'm so glad that I did decide to do this because I thought I screwed up. And tell me that doesn't look like a whole volcano right there. Like, it's not just one solid color. You can kind of see like the mix. I think it looks great. For the pictures, I'm going to glue them on the first floor, and I'm going to glue them in front of the windows the same way I did the pins on the second floor. I am also going to make sure that I glue it the same way I use that other Mod Podge glue. Going to keep it around the outer parts because I don't want it to touch the paper so it doesn't burn through. Moving back onto the weld now that it has dried, I'm going to start off by using Mod Podge because I went ahead and cut out the playing cards. Remember I said earlier we're not going to worry about those right now. We're not worried about it. So I went ahead and cut them out. And I'm trying to glue them around the side. For some reason, the Mod Podge was not trying to stick them on. I don't know if it's because of this resin material. So I am using hot glue, and I was doing it in hopes that it didn't burn through, but it doesn't. I did start off by using the hot glue all at once, but again, this resin material was like not trying to stick the Mod Podge. It also was trying to hurry up and glue the hot glue. So I'm gonna stick 3 of them down, pull it up, and then I'm just gonna go off camera and do it one by one. It took me a good minute to glue and stick them down one by one, but I did it. And I'm gonna glue that in the attic part, which is why I said that I wanted to glue the attic outwards and not have it sitting the way it's supposed to be in the dollhouse. At this point, you can go ahead and add little fake bugs to it if you had it to like mimic when those Oogie Boogie's bugs was falling in that fire, but I don't have any. Now what I do have is the man of the hour himself, Mr. Oogie Boogie. So I'm gonna go ahead and excuse me. And again, this is part of that collectibles collection that I got from the Dollar Tree. Everything was $1.25. I also told you guys in that video that after I would open them up, I would show you the cards that it came with. If they're just basically collectible cards that you would just, I don't know, they weren't in the paper. They were just in the package that these things came in. So they weren't covered up. It's not something that you could collect and get money for. But yeah, they're really cute. It has all of the characters on it. Well, the main characters. I'm going to take Oogie and glue him at the top on the opposite side. I want to put him further over because I am going to add a few more things up there. I am going to glue these glow-in-the-dark dice that I got from Temu. Now, I think this is the snake from Beetlejuice, but I'm just going to use it for Oogie. I was going to kind of recreate those dice. Oogie does have snake dice with a real snake coming out of it, but I was like, I don't know, because I would have to make them small as these dice, and I was like, I don't think I could do something like that. So I just skipped out on it and, just keep it simple. I think it was either last year or the year before that, Dollar Tree had some Christmas chapstick that came with this little Santa hat on top of the chapstick. I'm just gonna glue that on Sally's head. I was like, we have to have her looking a little bit more festive. From Temu, I did buy a bunch of Christmas miniatures. It didn't come in this bag, it came separately, but I put them in there so I could remember. First thing that we have is a pack of colorful mini trees. Now, they do sell these mini trees at the Dollar Tree, but not in these colors, so I did pick them up. I picked up another fireplace. The one I had for Coraline was black. This one I got in white, and I think they also have burgundy. I love this because it flickers, but I am not going to be able to use it for this dollhouse. I also got this garland, miniature dollhouse garland. It is so cute because it has this light up, the LEDs, 3 different light settings, a fast flicker, a slow flicker, and then it's just on and then off. I also got a miniature Santa because, of course, Oogie's boys kidnapped Santa for Jack, so we have to have that. I also got a pack of miniature tubs, and by the way, I will try to have all of these products linked down below. They weren't cheap, okay? They were like maybe $5 for some things, maybe 6, so they're all cheap and you get a lot for the price. And yes, the tub does go down, so you can fit something in there. So I love that little detail. It looks like he's chilling, but it also can look like he, was handcuffed or tied or something like that. So I do like how his arms look. I also picked up another welcome sign, a repurchase of these Lego steps, but I did purchase the smaller ones this time. The other ones were longer. I thought that this would be great to add for, how like when you're putting up a Christmas tree and you are on the step stool. So I was thinking of that, but it's just not gonna go. I think it was just like too much. I'll use it some other time. I'm always gonna use something that I got. And then I was also gonna use it for steps in the front. I did go ahead and cut the top part. Dang, that went flying. And it's on the floor too, so that I could put it in a dollhouse. I am unfortunately not going to be able to use this in this dollhouse because it is not going to fit. I also have to fit, Jack in there, and these figurines are big. Like, they're a little bit bigger than the dollhouse. Like, they are just fitting in the dollhouse. And also the pins were in the way, so I wouldn't be able to turn the fireplace on and off. So it definitely would not have worked out. But look at how adorable these little miniature brush trees are. So we have a teal color, which the teal one is the one that you can typically get at the Dollar Tree. A green color, a gold, a reddish tone and then a more pink tone. So I'm going to use the more red tone for Jack, and I'm just going to set this up in here. He's going to go on the second floor where that fireplace was going to go. So far, the only thing I have glued is that gibbet of Jack up there, the red and white Santa one. I thought it was going to go cute on the door. I did not have like a design theme that I was going to put on any of the doors, so I went ahead and tried to glue as much stuff as possible. I did glue Jack on the corner right there, but I think I'm going to move him later. I did pick up this little miniature sewing machine from Temu. So adorable. It is kind of heavy. It's not like one of those pins. It's just like something miniature that you would put in the dollhouse. But I was thinking of putting it on the side of the tree, like as a present, something like, well, Jack would have dropped it off for Sally. I just had this little cute idea, but it is pretty big compared to that little brush tree. If the brush trees were just a smidge bit taller, that would be very helpful. For the first floor, I have this little miniature garden fairy steps that I got from Temu, so I'm going to glue that in. I also have Sally's master, I forgot his name, if he even had a name, but I'm going to glue him on top of that so it looks like he's coming down the steps. I'm going to glue it in the corner, but I'm also going to make sure it does not cover up the pictures. I also have this set of removable glass chemical bottles that I got from Temu, and I'm going to put that in the center. I was going to put this big Sally in here, but she's like way too big for what I need it to be, so I'm not going to end up putting that one in there because she would be in the way of the other picture, and we can't let that happen. So instead, I did get a couple of pieces from the dollhouse. You guys know that these chairs come with it. One dollhouse has the purple chair, the other one has the pink chair. I decided to put her in the pink one because it looked better overall. The purple one, no. And then they also come with tables, so I just glued 2 tables together. I was going to try to make my own table, something like that, so I just decided to do this because I do want to glue that sewing machine on top of it and then put this Sally in there. So that Sally is just one of them gibbets. Is definitely fitting a whole lot better, and it's not going to be in the way of the picture. Starting from the top, I did glue that snake in behind the well. On Jack's section, I did glue the gibbet of Jack and Sally that looks like 2 kids, so that fit perfect right there. I also glued one of those presents that you can get at the Dollar Tree and also Hobby Lobby. It's way too big, so I'm definitely going to need to look for miniature presents, but you know, it is what it is. So the only interactive thing that is in the dollhouse would be those chemical type of flasks that you can actually pull out. You guys know how I love to give something like it makes it look like it can pull out, it can do this, it can do that, but it is what it is. Also, I just had to say how adorable it is that my sheet of leftover cards fit in that little plastic. I went ahead and painted the 2 wood boards that I'm using. Off camera, I used the Apple Barrel matte paint in the shade black and a mixture of the territorial beige paint, and it gave me this more cool tone, neutral looking, deep dark color. I'm just gonna glue them together. I'm using 2 wood boards this time around because I have a yard full that I need to fill up, just like Coraline's yard. I've been using like 2 woods these days. I need to stop that. I need to make the yard a little smaller. I went ahead and glued it down on one piece of wood, and then the sticks in the front are on the other piece. So it's not smack dab in the center like I did Coraline's place. So make sure you just pay attention to something like that. If you were to recreate this, I'm just saying like based off if you were to recreate something like this. So I am using a strip of the walkway that I get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm so sad. Like, I've went to a couple of Dollar Trees and I have not seen these miniature roads this time around. I did see some Christmas miniatures at the Dollar Tree, so they did decide to bring some of those out, but they're like the mailboxes and the light post and the people and all of that stuff. It's not what we really want. And then right here is where I said I was going to add those steps, but then I remembered that I am going to do a fence around the whole yard, so it's just pointless to use this. I decided to use this other version of Jack and glue him in the front because in that scene when he discovered the other world, dang, that sound like Coral. But yeah, when he discovered the other world, he picked up the snow, so we're kind of going to recreate this scene. I also had this clock necklace that I got from Temu as well. I took the chain off of it. Unfortunately, it's not working right now because I forgot that when I first got this, like about 2 years ago now, I think, I turned it on and I never pulled it to turn it back off, so it's dead. Oh, that really sucks. But it looks like a coffin, and I decided that I am going to glue this in the front yard as well because it's something that you can open. So this is like another thing that's going to be interactive. You can actually open it. But I am going to go ahead and start adding the snow to the ground, and I'm using that faux snow from Hobby Lobby. I also got these snowflake charms, I guess, from Temu. It's a lot in the pack. They are so cute. Now, I think I got the silver tone ones. I should have got the ones that has like a blue shift, but I didn't want it to look too blue. But I definitely think it would have stood out a little bit more because these kind of, they're so pretty, but they just really don't stand out against, at least his skin is what I'm about to put it on. So it definitely don't stand out on that. But yeah, I am going to be adding one to his hand. I am also going to be adding one to, or a couple of them, to the walkway. I went ahead and added some to the walkway. I also added a little bit of snow because the snowflakes didn't look right by themselves glued on there, so I just added them. And see what I'm saying? Like, you can't even see them. So like, what? But it's my fault. I should have just got some more. I am not going to be adding snow to the back. Now for these fairy garden pieces right here, I did get these from the Dollar Tree. Got these a while back and never found a place for them. One is like some steps and the other one is like a type of fireplace, like maybe if you're having a bonfire or if you need to put like some food or a drink up there, something like that. And I have right here 3 gibbets of Shock, Lock, and Barrel. I think that's all 3 of their names. I am going to glue them around that fireplace because it's like 3 sections on there from how they built the sticks, and I think like they just fit perfect. Now I would have loved to have put them in the tub like in the movie, but that tub was not going to be big enough to fit all 3 of them in there. For Santa, I'm going to go ahead and glue him in a tub because I am going to use that scarecrow that I used earlier. Cut a piece of his, I'm just tearing him up, but I'm going to cut a piece of his clothes off and then wrap it around Santa to make it look, oh, that's what I'm doing now. I said I was gluing him. So yeah, I'm doing that part first. So I just cut a little piece off and I'm gluing that. Now I do have burlap, but I was like, they actually use the bag, so it would just make more sense to make it look like this right here. I think I needed to cut a piece a little bit bigger than I did, but you know, it is what it is. Where I glued Oogie's boys at, I just did not think it was looking as festive as I wanted it to look. Something was throwing me off. Honestly, I think it's the wallpaper from the Dollar Tree that's throwing me off because it's too light brown for everything deep dark that it's giving. But I did try to put these wreaths on here. I think I got these wreaths from the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby, one of those stores. And I put them on there and I didn't like how they was looking either. Moving back to the front of the dollhouse, since I was getting frustrated with the back, I am going to take Sally now and then glue her on the side, kind of hiding away from Jack, but peeking around. It's so cute how it looks like she's peeking around so she can see him, just like in the movie when she was hiding behind, what was that she was hiding behind? The in the graveyard, and then she was also by the fence. And then I'm going to glue that other fairy garden piece on the opposite side of the house because we are going to put the mayor up there. I think I got him from Walmart when they had like their Christmas sale and things was like 70% off and all of that. So he was a little bit cheap compared to how much he's going to regularly cost. Before I started on this dollhouse, when I put him up there, I did have him roll down the steps just like in a movie. I think it would be so cool to like have to actually be able to really recreate certain, would you call it like animatronics or whatever from the actual movies like that, so we can have him rolling down the steps and like rolling back up. I would not know how to do that but it would be cool to have something like that. Maybe I need to like put a string on it, or I don't know. I don't want to end up breaking it because I already broke the piece of the tip of his hat off and I had to E6000 glue it back. I am going to lean him up against the house because he is heavy, by the way, and I don't want to break him any further. It kind of looks like he's leaning and about to fall that way too, so it's fine to be able to glue it like that. Now for the watch, I am going to go ahead and glue it in the front near Jack, but by Sally as well, so it can help hide her even more. Also going to make sure to glue it towards the back so you'd still be able to open up the flap just like that. Now going to the back of the dollhouse, I am going to use this Craft Smart white paint just to paint the tub. I wanted it to look white just like in the movie. So off camera, and don't worry, I didn't glue anything yet, but off camera I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to build a fence around. In the center, that door looking thing is from the Dollar Tree Fairy Garden section. Had it for a minute now. The brown fence is from Temu, and the building blocks is also from Temu. So what I am going to do is just like add all of that all the way around. I did not buy enough of these building blocks to just use these by themselves, so that's why I'm gonna also use the fence just to build them. Now I think there's like, I don't even know, I can't even remember how many pieces but it is like one type of piece, and you build it up just like Legos. One side looks like lines and the other side looks like brick, and in the movie, of course, all along the fence was brick, so that's why I'm just gonna, do it like this and then put the fence around it to make it look a little bit more put together. I have a couple of different colors of these welcome mats. The red and white one looks pretty good, but I thought that the black and white one would have fitted a lot better, so that's why I'm going with this one. I also have some black and white candy canes that I just got from Temu as well. They are the ones that are made of, I think, clay. They sell them at Hobby Lobby, and I always buy the red and white candy canes from Hobby Lobby when they have them, but those are like $3, maybe a little bit more, something like that. So I'm happy that they have them at Temu, especially I think you get like 10 in a pack. For the garland, I decided to put this around the fence. I just love how this looks. I need to get me another one of these garland LED lights, and I need to also get the LED fairy lights that they have there as well, because they are better than the ones from the Dollar Tree, because the switch is so much smaller so it can fit in better spaces. Oh my gosh. I'm also using the floral wire from the Dollar Tree just to wrap it around. I did not want to glue this just in case they do decide to discontinue this and I can't find it anywhere. Oh, I would be using it for multiple DIYs if I had to. So that's not like, I'm not going to glue it. I'm just going to tie it with the floral wire. This floral wire does come in handy, and they have it in different colors, but I'm glad I got the gold one because it matches better. And I'm also going to make sure to put the floral wire on 4 corners of the garland just so it stays down. Now in the front, I did have a couple of options to use the wreath, but I remember that I did have the other button for Jack and then also some more of the candy cane, so I went ahead and glued those two in the front. And while I was off camera, I did put in these string lights for the Nightmare Before Christmas. They are $5.98, but they were on sale when I got them from Walmart a couple of years ago. No, that was probably like last year, something like that. I did take some of the, well, you can see I took a lot of the faces off of Jack because it wasn't going to look right to have all of them on there. And see, that's what I'm saying. You see how big that battery holder is from the fairy lights. You can see how I added the cords. It would, oh, I need the fairy lights from Temu. I kept some of the faces of Jack on, and I think I only kept it in 3 places. So I put one on the tree, and then I also have the 2 that's on the side of the fence. And then the rest of them, I pulled them off. They're easy to come off. They don't break anything. You could put them back on over the LED lights. And look at how cool the dice is because they glow. They don't need a black light. Before we end the video, I do want to mention that I did do a DIY Jack or Nightmare Before Christmas snow globe probably about 2 years ago. Time's going by so quick. I will link that so you can go check it out if you want to see it. This is something that I would love if the balls could just like blow around in there like one of those snow globes. You turn it on. But anyway, yeah, go check that DIY out. So that is the end of this video. That is the end of this dollhouse. Well, not the end of it, but yeah, it's just the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed. We are going to take a little tour through here, not a little detour. We're going to do the full tour of the house so you can see how everything turned out up close. And see what I said, like when you mix those 2 paints together, how it looks like fire. It looks a little bit more like lava, but still has a fiery effect. And look at how adorable the little kids are, and Sally's getting ready to sew Jack's place, or not his place, his his little outfit. Those pictures are just so cute. And I also love how her creator is like on the steps looking like he's about to come down and say Sally.
roll of the dice. What? Snake eyes?
Charlie!
Jack, this time is back to
Jack, answer me!
What's this? There's white things in the air. What's...
the worst is just around the bend.
But my